And just when I thought that the rom-com genre had officially died for me, here we are.
Oh.
Loretta Sage, getting you out of here.
Why are you so handsome?
My dad was a weatherman.
Hey, whoa, she doesn't need saving in there.
Okay.
What are you doing in there?
Today we have The Lost City. So The Lost City was one where the trailers hit and I didn't immediately gag, if you know what I mean. Like, they marketed it as like, oh yeah, romantic comedy. We've got all the people in the cast. Almost each and every one of them are pretty much household names. And the premise is decent from the trailers, where it's like, okay, yeah, there's a writer who does these cheesy romance novels you always see in the back corner of, a Walmart or CVS. And then it turns out that one guy with too much money and time is like, your stories have actually helped to find a real island. And then that just kidnaps her to do a thing. And then the cover model for her books wants to go rescue her to show her that he's worthy of the love. And it's a very it's a kind of a silly premise, but at the same time it's executed so it seems like it all is on the level. I'm getting ahead of myself. So this one is actually co-directed by two guys, two brothers, I believe, actually, but they got together, did this film. I think it's their directorial debut. Aaron and Adam Nee. I had never heard of them. If you look it up on their IMDb, they do have other credits, but it's mostly on short film, documentary, writing. So I think technically this is their first big Hollywood film. Acting star power, you've seen them on the posters, but we'll at least address them. Again, everybody I'm going to mention is a household name, so I'm not going to really bring up their filmography so much, but you have the two stars, Sandra Bullock, there she is, what hasn't she been in, and Channing Tatum. I know that Channing's been on my channel in terms of featured in movie reviews that I've done. I don't know if I've mentioned Sandra yet, but you have the two of them. Also worth mentioning, in terms of other star power, you have the main antagonist, who is Daniel Radcliffe. Come on, you know Harry Potter, I just love how he's at a point in his career, in his life, where he can just do whatever he wants, no matter how mainstream or obscure. He's like Elijah Wood, they finished the main campaign of this game and they're just off completing side quests now. It's pretty great. And additionally worth mentioning is also Brad Pitt, which again, household name, Brad Pitt, how do you not know him? But all four of those people are in this movie. Channing and Sandra are the main stars of it. This may actually be the shortest review I've ever done. I don't have a lot to talk about. I'm not gonna lie, The Lost City was actually really good. It's not a genre-defining romantic comedy, but I gotta admit, this was a lot better than I thought it was gonna be. A lot of the jokes land in this film. It's got good pacing. The story is actually engaging. It's just not a shitty romantic comedy. There's actually effort put into this. Good performances all around. Sandra and Channing giving not career defining again, but some surprisingly dramatic moments here and there, because at the core of this, it is still a romantic comedy. There's of course a lot of moments that are played for laughs, both physical comedy, surprisingly not a lot of poopy poop humor, not a lot of fart jokes, not a lot of women and vaginas and periods. The script, I'm not saying it's perfect, but the humor is a bit more, it is still the physical slapstick stuff here and there, but they kind of held back on making potty humor, and that's bravo. It's in the days of Illumination Entertainment, it's pretty easy to grab that low-hanging fruit and get a cheap laugh out of your audience, but they don't do a lot of that in this movie, so props. It's a decent blend of funny and dramatic. Granted, I was drinking when I saw this movie, so I don't know if me saying I felt emotional in certain moments is gonna really have any weight to it, but it was a nice little story, because it was more than just woman being kidnapped to being brought to this island to search for a treasure. She also has some shit going on. She starts off in a certain way, and she's lost her husband, who she was a historian with, so she took that contextual knowledge of history and applied that to her romance novels that people love. Also, there's that that smidge of authenticity in that the historical accuracy is actually present. And then you have Channing doing, take it as a pro or a con for what you will, but Channing always seems to play the same character, which is like kind of a meathead, jockey, hunk, like looks good, like a himbo basically. I mean, if you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. But just a guy who's like, yeah, I look this way, but I actually have a heart of gold, and I want to seem tough, but I'm really not. Like, I don't know. He kind of seemed like he was again very similar to this in Dog, which I covered not too long ago, and 21 Jump Street, which is another good example. But it'd be nice to see, and maybe there's some other films that I could check out, but I want to see Channing in more diverse roles. I feel like there's a little bit of something under there that he could like dig up. I'd love to see it, like get an Adam Sandler Uncut Gems punch drunk love moment, you know? Sandra always bringing her A game, or I mean romantic comedy equivalent of A game. I have no complaints. Even Brad Pitt, Daniel Radcliffe, everybody plays their character really well. I will admit, like, this movie is 80% funny, 20% cringe. There are some jokes that go on a little bit too long and some punchlines that are a little bit schlocky, and it's like for every one of those lines where you're like, oh, that was a kind of a shitty, cringy joke, there's a better joke that makes you actually laugh out loud. And there was a surprisingly full theater, the showing that I went to, and most people, like, most of these jokes landed. Not on the whole, like, older guy who doesn't get out much and is just like, good one, Liam Neeson. But it's more like these jokes were actually solid successful attempts at humor that landed and were actually like funny. Plot's fairly predictable. You're not seeing Shutter Island here. Like, you're not gonna be like reeling on your heels like, oh my god, I laughed, I cried, you can kind of figure out where the story's gonna go, but at the same time it's like told nicely. It's told the same as most of the stories of its kind, but like a little bit of its own twist and, vibe. And I can't say this exact story exists out there right now, so it's nice to see a story that has been told before but is being told kind of differently than it normally would be. Some environments in the movie, like, it's all supposed to be like a jungle island type of deal. Like, some of it, I mean, it looks passable. Some moments you can definitely tell are like film sets or are kind of fake. Some moments you can really tell, kind of like in Moonfall, like there's obvious green screen usage, or like not enough to take me out of the film, but enough where I was like, oh well, I can see that. Like, this feels a bit manufactured. I don't have much else to say, honestly. I think that The Lost City is a really solid, if not really good, romantic comedy. And I was getting to a point where I'm like low-key worried. Like, I don't watch a lot of romantic comedies, but I will watch them, and I've reviewed them before on my channel. I think the last one I reviewed was Broken Hearts Gallery, which I actually also surprisingly liked. I just think because of such program networks like Hallmark or Lifetime or ABC, NBC, CB, like all other genres, eventually they become oversaturated with just a bunch of like, can we make it? Cool. Should we? Who cares? Just make it. Just make content, make it, copy, paste, compelling. I want new, I want creative, I want just well-written, well-directed, shot, acted. Like, I'm looking for quality overall, and it's nice to see that you can still make a romantic comedy that's like, is it going to be a bit cheesy? Sure. Is it going to be 100% hilarious throughout? Maybe not, but like, this is more than passable. I at no point was I bored. At no point did I want to be watching something else, which there have been movies this year that I've watched where I'm like, God damn it, when is this going to end? This movie, I was in for the ride. Even if I kind of had an idea where the ride was going to take me, it was still it was funny. A couple moments where I was like, whoa, okay, I didn't think they would do that. And it was just engaging, it was a little bit endearing, and it was just kind of like a nice little story that I was like, alright, I'm gonna get buzzed and watch this and see how it goes. And you know what? Had a good time. So for that reason, I would give Lost City a really solid 4 out of 5. Honestly, what complaints I do have about this film aren't enough to make it to really bring it down. The two main qualities being that one, it accomplishes what it sets out to do, and in that regard it does it very well. And for me, my personal enjoyment, yeah, I had a good time watching this film. It's good for date night. I don't know about family movie, maybe not a family movie per se, but definitely date night, you and your significant other, or if you're just looking for something a bit more lighthearted than the usual stuff that's going on out there. Would I say go see it in theaters? probably not. I mean, not to say it's not worth it in theaters. If you want to go out for a date night, then sure. But like, you don't have to see this on the big screen. You could stream this at home and be fine. This ain't Dune. You don't have to worry about the experience of it. It's just a romantic comedy. Thank you guys again so much for watching. That's my review of The Lost City. If you let me know what you thought below. If you got any films you want me to review, by all means, I'll do them. Doesn't have a whole lot going on for it, but what it does have going on, it does surprisingly well. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode of whatever movie I review. Goodbye, travelers.